What's going on, people? Mizzy GC here, and today we're going to deep dive into my 1,500 plus shinies, from the earliest ones in my account to my most recent ones. It would have been over 2,000 shinies, but of course I had to delete a lot of com day ones and ones that are boosted because they were taking up way too much space in my account. So it's going to be a chilled out one, telling memorable stories of shinies over the years. If at any point you want to comment, let me know your favorite shiny, your favorite one in your account, one that you're still chasing, or even your favorite shiny of all time that hasn't been released in Pokemon Go yet. Yeah, feel free to comment. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. As you can see, it's a beautiful day, and the reason I'm doing this video and not a long incense walk is because I've got a very awkwardly timed eye checkup from operation, which, just another update, it's been really great. This eye is even better than this eye now. They've both been fixed. So yeah, onwards and upwards. And another thing just to mention, I'm really looking forward to this weekend because we've got the Kangaskhan Mega Raid Day, and that is going to be a Shiny Dex family complete. Just before we get started, I've actually just did a random check on my shinies in the last year. So I did age 0 to 365 and shiny. Majority of these were actually caught in the last 365 days. That's 1,400. Most likely, as I said, would have been 1,800. Let's get started. I've already done it in the oldest first. Now, please do take into account that I did say I've probably transferred, before I started playing properly, about 100 shinies into Scarlet and Violet, and that's way before I actually knew what I was doing in this game. And I regret a lot of them still to this day. As I said, I still haven't got a Vulpix, a regular one that has gone over there, loads of votes, but we've recouped a lot of them. But yeah, the earliest one most likely was a Voltorb from like my earliest memories of this game, but I can't remember. But if not, our first shiny is this Medicham. So I've just managed to mega it recently, but that was one of the earliest ones. I remember it was actually in my living room because I was only playing at home. So there was no chance of really finding them on the road, no memories being made outside. The next one, of course, is my best friend Garchomp. That was my best buddy for so many days, but this one has a deep place in my heart. This one I mentioned before, it was actually during a community day, December 2023, before I even knew what community day was. And I got this from a field research randomly. Didn't even realize it was shiny because I'd never seen a shiny Gible before that. And yeah, this is one of my oldest, longest running keeps, and one of my best shinies for a long time. It's still in my top page now, actually, because its CP is so high. Next up, I remember this Tyranitar. This was on the way back from work one day. I mentioned that I used to just kind of turn on the game once in a while if I was on the bus journey or something like that. And this Tyranitar, well, sorry, it was a Larvitar at the time, but I got caught up in a community day, which, as I said, I didn't really know what community day was, so I was wondering, why is it all Larvitars at the second? And I clicked and I thought, oh my god, I'm so lucky, I got 2 shinies on this 15-minute bus ride, and I didn't even carry on playing after that. But this one was double XL, yet the IVs are terrible, but I still love it. It's just, you know, as I said, we love different rolls, like double extra small catch cards, double extra large, so it's a massive one. I've megaed it, I think it's almost max level. You know what, I'm just gonna get that done right now, because we're a few steps away, and you know, it's tough to keep up with these sometimes. But yeah, there we have it. This is one of my favorites. I don't think I've even had a Larvitar since, so this is like 1.5 years ago. I haven't seen one since, so I guess I was lucky to even have this one in the first place. Next up, I have this Infernape. Now, I'll never forget, I used to think shinies were impossible to find, and I thought for some reason that they were even higher, or sorry, even a lower chance of catching shiny starter Pokemon for some reason, just because you don't see them very often unless it's events, but I just hadn't experienced enough events yet to know that. But yeah, this one popped up, and I remember I hatched a batch of eggs right afterwards, and my first ever egg hatch was this. So this shiny Miltank was my first ever egg hatch. Never seen one since. It's still a massively rare Pokemon to this day. But yeah, I mean, it was average IVs, but you know, I was happy to have the blue milk drink, you know, blueberry milk or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that was hatched in February of 2023. So as I said, this is before I was even level 39, probably level 36 or 34 or something at this point. But yeah, my first ever shiny egg hatch, nice little Miltank. I'm still searching for one. I really still want one, to be fair, just because I want to see it on the screen and the sparkles to happen. But we have this Nidoran. Well, it was a Nidoran, Nidoqueen. This is when I thought Spotlight Hours, you're basically guaranteed a shiny, but now I've realised that Spotlight Hours just increased chance of catching a full-on shiny, not any increased odds. But this Nidoran, I ran around the whole park. It took a long time to get that one, but yeah, managed to get one pink one during that Spotlight Hour, which was great. This was like, I think it was a community day. This Hitmontop was a community day, but I just didn't know what I was doing. I think I sat in the park, my local park, for like 25 minutes, just trying to figure out what's going on, just doing the random field researches, and then ended up with a shiny. I think I got a hundo that day as well. But even back then I was like, oh, it's a hundo, yeah, it's full stats, but what does that really mean? And yeah, next up was this. So this was the, what's his name? Oh my God. Oh yeah, Axews Community Day. So yeah, I got loads and loads of Axews. I think I got like 7, and I've traded some away in that time. But like at the time, 7 was like a really good result for me. Like, oh my God, I've got 7 of these shinies, not knowing that my average down the line would be like 25 to 30. But yeah, I've got one for every single range. So like, this is a Great League one, this is the one for Master League, and this is the one for Ultra League. These got me through so many rockets in my earlier stages. These Haxoruses might have saved me because of Breaking Swipe being the fast move, and Breaking Swipe, obviously, it's difficult for rockets to attack you when you're using that, and it's a fast charge move and it lowers their attack as well. So Haxorus, that was a life hack for me in my early game. I might not have as many rockets if it wasn't for that. What's up next? This was a community day. We got this, my first shiny Blastoise. This is a mega, it's a terrible IV. I remember I was at work and I was on a lunch break, and I realized that it was a community day happening on my lunch break, and I was like, oh my God. So I ran around literally the same square, just running around the same square, trying to get new spawns, not realizing it's gonna be the same spawns every single time I go back to that area unless you catch them and new ones pop up. But yeah, we managed to get a couple of these, but yeah, it's just, you know, it's one of the OG starters. Similar to this was, I think, a week after was the Charmander Community Day Classic. So I got a few of those, didn't realize the weight of it. This was when I walked into work, this one. I remember I found it, and I was just signing into my work, and I was like, oh my God, like I was signing in at 3 o'clock or something. So it was between 2 and 5, the com day. And I was like, oh my God, like, do I even want to start working now? Like I really wanted these Charmanders. I mean, obviously we've got better ones down the line, but at the time I was like, oh, I just couldn't concentrate. So I kept going sneak into like corridors at work and see if I do a quick check and see if I can scan for a shiny Charmander. But yeah, in the end, it's all worked out, of course. Oh, and this was September. So this was actually the release day of Lechonk. And I remember it like so clearly because I was reading the news at this point, the Pokemon news in the actual game, the events news, and I saw that shiny Lechonk was released, and obviously Scarlet and Violet, I was playing it at the time, and I was like, oh my God, I really want that. So I actually tried to click on a Snorlax, and when I clicked on that Snorlax, a shiny Lechonk popped up, and I was like, that is the best misclick ever. I mean, it's most misclicks, you're trying to get into a gym and there's a Pokemon behind it, you click on it and you're like, oh my God, let me get into the gym. But this was one of the best misclicks I've ever experienced. I think this was like a release of Meowth, maybe, but I remember I got an egg one on the release day, as well as like just walked around the corner and there was one there as well. But here's my first costume shiny. So I think I mentioned it in my level 39 to 50 video. This was the first costume shiny I ever received, which is the Duskull with, I think it's Halloween flowers or something like that. But yeah, it's a terrible one, but yeah, my earliest shiny there. I mean, shiny costume. Then we had, this is the community day for, no, don't do that. This is community day for Wooper, so both of them are turning up. I really struggled to get both of them at that time, but in the end I have got it. I don't think I only got 1 regular one and 2 of these. Maybe traded some away over time as well, who knows. And then this Cryogonal, I really enjoyed this Cryogonal because this is a Pokemon that I think it was the Alola region, which is Sun and Moon, so I completely missed this as a whole. Maybe I'm wrong, but either way, I just didn't think of this as like a relevant Pokemon. But I don't know, it's got a nice subtle shiny there, which I really do like. My first Goldeen. Now, I don't know if you guys have loads of Goldeens in your account or if you have none, but a lot of people do not have Goldeens, and they're actually so rare to find in the UK. You've got to be really near water, and even then it's rare to find. Like I had a nest and I didn't get one in my local park before. But yeah, this is the first one. I traded my second one to somebody because they were completing a 3-star shiny deck. So shout out to D-Meds. He's one of my good friends who I met on the Mewtwo Shadow Day a year ago, and we see each other all the time, we speak all the time. But I gave it to him and I haven't been able to get one back since. And honestly, it's just so painful. But you know, it's like Staryu and Seal. It's just like a Gen 1 Pokemon that are just extremely rare for basically no reason, but you just got to pray for those boosted events to come out. And now we are at the Sinnoh Tour day. Now, Sinnoh Tour, I've explained in a previous video, I had no clue what was going on. I don't know what all these colourful things were flying from the sky, the whatever type forms they were doing. I didn't know why it kept changing from the past Pokemon to the current Pokemon in terms of like the origin form Dialga and Palkia, and then the regular Dialga and Palkia. And I was just so confused. That was the day that I got my my first ever Galarian bird. But then I realized, I said in my previous video that Kyogre was my earliest shiny. It was my earliest raid shiny, but I didn't realize that I actually had legendary shiny. This was my first one in my account, which was this Uxie. And this was from a field research during the Sinnoh tour day, and I was so confused. I was like, oh my God, does everyone get shinies from these researches? Are Mesprit and Azelf going to be shiny as well? I actually asked it in a Facebook group and I got laughed out of the group. But yeah, and on that day, obviously I wasn't playing much. I played less than an hour that day, and I got this Sneasel as well. Got this, I got this as the baby, and I evolved it just one form. Still need two others of those, to be fair. And I actually got this shiny Palkia. This I was relying on breakthroughs for remote raid passes. And obviously I wasn't spending my 250 coins on it for there was no way I was going to do that, because yeah, I just wasn't making coins. I had 50 coins a day maximum if I got them that day. So yeah, it just didn't make sense to me. So I did this Palkia, I got the shiny. Unfortunately, it didn't have the move. That would have been crazy for that to have been one of my earliest shiny legendaries. So we have this. So this was walking home from my neighbour up the road. I've mentioned her before. And I egg hatched, and it was this. It was my first ever shiny Rockruff. If you saw the other day, I just traded one with Tertian. But yeah, I just was so happy. I've never seen a shiny Rockruff before that. And next up we have this Gyarados. Now this Gyarados, I never had a shiny Magikarp before, but I was just in my local park, and I didn't know Megas could be shiny basically when they're fully evolved. So yeah, this is my first ever shiny Gyarados. Honestly, I screamed in the style of Lake of Rage. It was a really massive one for me, because honestly, like, usually I used to take one screenshot, but I took like 10 screenshots of that one. I was just so excited. After that was the Litten Community Day, so I didn't get to play that much of it. I got to play like 45 minutes, but I got enough. I got about 10 in that 45 minutes. I've deleted some since. And then here are the Kyogres. So this is basically where my journey at Crystal Palace started. So I got 4 Kyogres that time. Sorry, only 3 are in here, but 1 was traded. And I remember it so vividly before I was buying coins. And I was like, oh my God, do I buy 5 more passes? Like, do I spend £5 on these tickets and blah, blah, blah. And then in the end, I did it, and I got 2 back-to-back Kyogres. So after like 14 raids, got 2 shinies, and then after like 5 after that, I got 2 more back-to-back. This Regice was actually my shiny, but it's my Dex entry as well. So this one's a 92 from what I remember. Oh yeah, it says it right there. But yeah, it was a 92, and I actually was waiting to go into work one day, and then somebody invited me randomly from a different country, like one of these people that I had on Facebook groups back in the day before any WhatsApp groups or Discords were joined. And yeah, it turned up shiny. I was so happy. That like made my morning. It was a really good day at work after that as a result. So those kind of things like, you just never forget. So this was my first ever shiny Bulbasaur. I caught that in the wild, and it was 92 IV, 14, 14, 13. I'll never forget it because it was a really sunny day like it is today, and I couldn't even see that it was a shiny. Bulbasaur was one of those very subtle, discreet shinies. And yeah, it just popped up. And where do we move on to? We move on to, this was the Mewtwo day. So this is a purified one. The Mewtwo Shadow Day, I showed a picture in my level 39 to 50 video. That's where they broke a record of 400 people turned up, or maybe 500, 600 people, who knows. It was a massive meetup at Marble Arch in London, and the whole square in Marble Arch was taken up by Pokemon Go players. But yeah, and then this was, I got this. So this was my very special Mewtwo, the Shadow Mewtwo 92 IV. And you know, it's still one of my most prominent Pokemon. It still gets used a lot. A Psychic, well, Psystrike, Confusion, yeah, and Ice Beam for dragons. That has been a crazy combo over the years. Well, over the year, sorry. And this Wimpod next after that, the Mewtwo days. This is double extra small. So you know, Wimpod being a tiny Pokemon as it is, and being double extra small. This was released at 10 o'clock on, what's the date on that one? The 4th of the 4th, so the 4th of April 2024. That was released. And I got it within half an hour of its release day, but I didn't actually know that was the release day. So when I put it into different group chats saying, oh look, I just got this, everyone was like, oh my God, already? How have you done that? And I was just on the way to work. That's when I actually decided to, whenever Shiny's released, I want it on that day. But sadly, of course, it's not always going to happen. So I had to kind of get that up after a few more release days. I've mentioned Bagon Community Day in the past, where it was 3 times catch XP, so you're getting like 6 to 7k XP per catch if it was an excellent. And yeah, I got a few of these. I'm still looking for a better Salamence. This was my best one at the time, which I had powered up, 15 attack, can't complain. Yeah, this one's good to see because we had Shuckle recently, but this was my first ever shiny Shuckle. It was actually a double XL. I was just on my lunch break at work and I went outside to get some fresh air, and then there it was, just sat there, the double XL. And this Heracross day, I actually have 5 Heracrosses this day. I've mentioned it in the past. This is the Heracross that my best one of the day, the 15, 15, 12. Of course, if you've watched any of my videos recently, you know I got a bit of a better one now. But yeah, the Heracross day was a great day, and my first time experiencing 1 in 10 mega shinies. I think I got, like, in the first 5 raids I did on that day, I got 3 shinies. And as we move on here, and you also see a lot of Bronzors and Bronzongs dipping about, but that's because they were super boosted at the time. I don't know if they're still perma boosted because I haven't seen one for a while, even though they have kind of been showing their face. But at one point I was seeing more green Bronzors. If I asked anyone, oh, guess what, I got a shiny, they'll say, oh, was it Bronzor? And the answer was often yes. But there we have it. This is our first Shundo. So as I said, we got the Gyarados first, and then we had this. So yeah, the first Shundo, that was, I mean, I've said the date before in a previous video, but that was the 21st of April 2024. So, oh, just over a year ago now, so it's a nice anniversary for this guy. I remember this Samurott was on the way into work as well. That was just one of those ones where you know the spawn's about to disappear. You know, you click it, it's disappeared, and you basically just got it, and it was a shiny Oshawott, and it had, of course, this IV, so I was super shocked, and I've never seen an Oshawott before. Next up, we have a day where I actually walked a lot. I think it was 15 kilometers that day. I walked from, I don't know, Beckenham to Crystal Palace to Streatham. If you don't know these areas, don't worry, it's just a long way. Streatham, and I went the wrong way, so I went to Clapham, and then I ended up in Bermondsey and all of these things. But that was during a sustainability event. So I remember I got this. It was like a tough day. In the first 5 hours I didn't get anything, and then I got this Fungus. I think it was wild or a field research maybe, and then I got this Drillbur, which was from an egg. Yes, that was it. It was from an egg. And then there was the Spotlight Hour, which was Trubbish, and Trubbish was boosted for the sustainability event, so that was a really good Spotlight Hour. 1 hour, got 4 or 5 shinies or something. And at the end of the Spotlight, from a field research, so this is the first day that I got it from everything. I got the field research, egg, wild, all of these things, and I got all the different Pokemon from it for the event. Mythical was sat in my field research, and I had no Pokeballs left because we'd been throwing them at these Trubbish, which were giving more Stardust or something, or XP, but we just kept using so many of them that I ran out of balls, and I actually ended up buying 20 Pokeballs or something to catch this, because even though deep down I knew that in the field research it will stay shiny, but I wasn't taking that chance at this time. This is still relatively fresh into the game kind of thing. Next up we have this, so this is an interesting one. So, firstly, Floatzel, one of my favourite shinies, still looking for another Weasel. Look at, I don't know man, it's just something so nice about that. But this Heatmore. Now, I was leaving work one day, I was in the shopping centre, I used to be security in a shopping centre, or was in the restaurant at the time, whatever. So I was working, this Heatmore, I clicked it, there was a big bunch of spawns as I was about to leave the building. I clicked on it, and it was my first shiny Heatmore, and this is like one of my favourite shinies. Like, what a good shiny. If Heatran was this colour, it would have been so cold. So we got the Heatmore, and then the next click, literally, caught the Heatmore, excited, next click was this Charmander. So I'll never forget that 2 fire types spawned next to each other. I think that was my first wild back-to-back that I've ever, that I can remember, aside from community days. By the way, my record for community days is I've got 5 shinies back-to-back, and that was on the Gumi community day, which I had evidence, well, not evidence, I had people there witnessing it, and I was just like, oh my god. And yeah, it never happened again, obviously. The closest thing to that is the 4 out of 5 remote raid Cresselias the other day, but yeah, we don't expect that one of those to happen again either, to be honest with you. And around this point, I can tell by this Umbreon here and then by this Espeon here is that I was trying to do the EV challenges to level up, so that's a funny benchmark to witness. This Aggron was actually from a raid, and it was one of the days, what kind of day was it? Oh, I can't tell, but it was the Clefairy Hatch Day, Cleffa Hatch Day. We were just walking around the park in Crystal Palace, just saw Aggron raid, Mega Aggron raid, did it, and then, you know, once again, Megas, I just didn't ever expect shinies from them. So when this one turned up green, I was like, oh my god, I screamed. Everyone saw a community ambassador said, no more shinies for you today, because I've obviously been cleaning up recently. Let's have a look. This Ordino, that was actually, because that was actually on the way to an Ordino nest. We didn't get anything during the nest. I got a 98 or something, but on the way I got this level 1 shiny. So how does that work? But I guess it's all orangey at the end of the day. This was my first shiny Snivy, and I will never forget that, because I was on the bus home with my friend Ricky, and he was just like, oh, why are you getting so excited? Why are you so gassed about this shiny? And then I showed him the IV, and he was like, oh, okay, don't worry. So yeah, good way to shut people up is with good IVs. Bounce Meet Community Day, I got a 98 shiny Serena that day, which is, I would have preferred 98 shinies on so many different community days, but I guess that's that. One of my most disappointing shinies of all time has just showed its face. Here we have it. It's the Mew. The shiny Mew, which is like, you know, so rare to get throughout the years in Pokemon. There's only 3 available ways to have ever got it. And yeah, 13, 10, 11. That one hurts me a little bit, to be honest with you. So next up I have what some people would consider a very, very rare shiny. And that's this Furfrou. And I think Diamond Trim, I'm not sure if that's the UK trim or that's the one that everyone can do all over the world. I have this, and I actually have a place in Egypt because I need to collect 9 in the first place. I think I have 2 or 3 right now, maybe only 2. But I'm going to do the Egyptian ones. I'm going to bring out loads of pharaohs. We have this Slackoff, which is one of my favourite shinies. I didn't realise I had a pink bum like that, or red bum, sorry, that's so funny. But yeah, with the cloudy hat. So I don't even know why they introduced this one, but it was such a cool shiny. Like, they need more good shinies like that. Good costume shinies, sorry. So here's that Gumi Community Day where I mentioned we got 5 total in a row, sorry, 5 in a row. This was a cloister given to me by Hayden. I still haven't got a Shelder. I really want that Shelder, the orange shell, whatever. It's so good, but yeah, at least I have this to a degree. What's next? Oh, here's one of the other Furfrous that are waiting to evolve. Then we got Rayquaza. This is the first Rayquaza day. Funnily enough, this is the only shiny Rayquaza I've ever had in my account. Caught by myself. I did the Elite Day. I did the makeup day because of how bad the Elite Day was. I only got 1, so I had to rely on my friend to trade it over for me. And here we have it. So we got it. This is my lucky Rayquaza, my first one, the 94. Everyone was like, congratulations. I was like, it's not good enough, but at the same time, I was really happy because at this time I thought luckies, as long as it's a 19 above, I was really happy. But what makes me even more happy is that this can eventually become a Shundo. So I'm super looking forward to that. Once the hyper training is completely in the open and figured out what's going to happen, this is on my hit list. I think I might even have a tag on it. Yeah, I've got the hyper train tag on it. So Shundo Rayquaza should be on the way, guys. Next up, I've got a Pikachu. This was, anniversary. Pokemon Go anniversary. I got this. And I kind of got like an IV I really like, but also at the same time, well, it could have been better, but yeah, so close yet so far. We got a reverse PvP IV, 15-15 free. But yeah, I really do like shiny Pikachus, of course. We figured that one out in the 39 to 50 video. Oh, and this was actually the build-up to, GoFest, where the week before, like they did recently for the Unova tour, where the eggs is half hatch distance, and then you end up being able to hatch eggs that had Pokemon that were coming up in GoFest, and Jangmo was one of those Pokemon. So before the actual GoFest started, I got myself a shiny Jangmo from an egg. I've evolved this one. A bit silly of me to have evolved it this far already. But now we're into GoFest because I hatched quite a lot. I remember I hatched this Badu. The Kartana's obviously raids. Where'd this come from? That was in the wild. This Wallaby was a hatch from a 7k egg. Oh my god, this Spinder. Just quickly, this Spinder. You know, Spinder only comes from one research, which is make 5 great curveball throws in a row. Now, I'm extremely good at curveball throws, I'm good at throws, I'm good at excellence, everything like that. This one took me about 20 minutes. I just kept breaking the chain on the 4th one, the Pokemon would jump, I'd just do a miss throw, whatever. And in my mind, I was like, this one has to be a shiny. Like, it's guaranteed going to be a shiny Spinder. It popped up, it's my only shiny Spinder I've ever had since, and that was... yeah, that's almost a year ago. Now we're actually into GoFest, so of course I was trying to collect all the Ultra Beasts. I'm still missing an Ultra Beast. Can you imagine? Celesteela of all Ultra Beasts is the only one that I'm missing. So if any of my friends have a Celesteela spare, put my name on it please, or message me, and then, you know, let's organize a trade, right? But yeah, I got this Zerkatree. That was, I think, the release of the Zerkatree shiny, actually. Got this Buzzwole, which I think is such a sick shiny. I love Buzzwole. It would have been cool if it was all green, but at the same time, yeah, I like this a lot. Some people complain about it. Pheromosa, this one took me like 30 plus raids before I got my shiny, but I got it underwhelming IVs, but at the same time, it was just for the decks. Moving on from that Pheromosa, then GoFest happened. So yeah, well, I did get another Axew, actually. That was during GoFest. Yeah, Buzzwole, got the catch card. Underwhelming, but now I need to find somebody with a catch card to lucky trade that, because this is actually quite a relevant fighting type, but you know, it just has lost priority. Pokemon Go moves so fast sometimes. You want something really badly, and then the next thing comes out, you want another thing really badly. So maybe I should have made a list of what actually, I think this one is in my like for like folder, yeah, but that really gets checked because people don't often have those kind of things as well. Yeah, GoFest went really well. Got this Sun Hat Pikachu shiny. That was from a field research, I believe. Special research, so maybe it was actually from a snapshot. And where's that other Pikachu? That should be around here as well. But yeah, my first ever Giraffe rig, that was during GoFest level 1, I believe, or 1.5 maybe. but I had one run away on the auto catcher. It's a shame, but we'll get another one eventually down the line. But when Farigiraf comes out, I really want one for that. Okay, oh, here's the Moon Crown Pikachu, which was an even better one, both females I believe, so yeah, that's a great one. Oh yeah, and this is the Pokemon that started it all off. So I told the story in my level 39 to 50 video with myself and Hayden on holiday. That's when I first downloaded the game again after all these years. And we clicked on Corsolas and Hayden got the blue one and I got this one. So in that time I managed to get this one. This is the one that everyone wanted at the time because it was released and it's original, so it's so difficult to find. And it's a cute shiny as well, nice colour. So yeah, a lot of people didn't get it, so I'm really happy to have it in this account. And also got my first ever Trevenants and Phantoms, which I've always seen on YouTube, and I was like, oh my god, I want to see this ghost, and it would never happen no matter how many times it popped up on Daily Incense. And this is interesting, so I know exactly where we are, because this was the first encounter at 2 o'clock when the clocks changed. My auto catcher caught this shiny Umbreon with the scarf, and it was a level 1 as well. Oh, PvP IV, but I'll never use this, I'll never power it up because that just reminds me of that day, clearly. And what else? This Vanillish, I remember this is on the second day. I hatched this from an egg and I was so happy because I got the shiny ice cream or whatever, which is funny because the community day just came literally 2 days ago. But what's funny about this is that I saw it in my inventory first, and that's at the time that sometimes the egg animation, the hatching animation would play afterwards. So I saw it first, and then the animation came, and I saw that the one that was in my inventory had hatched, but I thought it was the second shiny. I said, oh my god, I've got 2 Vanillites, I can't believe this. Honestly, I was so shocked, yeah, and I realised it was the same one, just a delayed animation. So yeah, but yeah, you get over those ones, you live and you learn. Got another Jangmo in the wild actually. So yeah, and then of course we got this, which we have the special background for, which is the wormhole as well as the Lunala background, which we got from that research. And this one's also the sun mixed with the wormhole background. As you can see in the background, it's not a special, I mean, it's not just a normal wormhole. Oh, and this one's lucky as well, they both are. This was Dynamo Community Day, and this is actually the day that we met our friend Ollie. He was just with 2 other friends. They were following us around the park, me and Baz and Edward, and they were doing raids. But they were just, whenever they saw us in a raid, they'd run over, but they wouldn't speak to us. So I said hello to them, introduced them, and then I told them about Crystal Palace. And Ollie always tells the story of how they were so lost. Like the first time they decided to go out as friends, and then all of a sudden there's this tiny fish, and that's the only Pokemon that they can find. Obviously that was like me a few months before that, I didn't know what a community day was, so that's so funny. But we got that, we managed to do a random trade of young boy Edward and got a lucky electric. Oh, and then we had the Lucario day. So my best Lucario is still this one, which I hope is 15 attack. Yeah, there we go, it's a good one, you know, you can't complain. Loads of people got Shundos that day. Oh, and this was the other half. I couldn't get this during the Go Fest, so I traded that with my friend. I gave him the second shiny Umbreon that I got, but not the level 1. And yeah, so that was a complete set. So that was the 2 Pikachus that we could get over here, as well as the two Umbreon and Espeon. Baby shinies, you know I love when these come out. I haven't seen one since, but that came out of an egg, and this is when I started putting money into eggs. But you know, eggs are like 50-50. It could be a serious scam, you get absolutely nothing, or of course you get Stardust candy, all of these things. But you know, sometimes eggs, if the only way is to get it through eggs, you've got to do the eggs. So I've kind of accepted that now. Next, oh, so this was from a random research. I don't know, it was from a timed research. I don't know if it was a paid one. I forgot what for which event. Maybe it was a fossil event or something. But I got this 96 Archeops. So after the Archon day the other day, I didn't get a better one, so I got this one. So nice to have this in here. Very subtle difference, but a nice one. Just come across this Pikachu, and I thought I'd say, this is from an egg, so it was a Pichu before. I've never had a regular shiny Pikachu pop up on my screen. Only costumes. I got a lot of costumes, but only Pichus, costume Pikachus, and of course Raichu had to be evolved apart from the Alolan form. But what are the odds of that? The original, the mascot of Japan Pokemon, the brand ambassador. I've never had one. I mean, but especially because it was Gen 1, whatever. But yeah, never had one. So one day that will actually be a big achievement for some reason. This Cranidos, I looked for this for ages because I saw loads of people get them in front of me. This was actually a really good one, so it was a 90. But that came out of an egg when I was at work one time, really happy about that. Oops. This was my first Shadow Lugia that I purified. I've got a better one now, which is actually hyper trainable, but this at the time, this is the best I could get. That Lugia weekend was a massive slog. Like honestly, by the Saturday and Sunday, my legs were finished. Finished by Saturday, Sunday, I just had to firm it, and Monday I was out for the count. It was tough. I only got 2 shinies on my account, which was ridiculous, but you know, for that much effort, as I said, it's RNG, and I'll always repeat, it's just RNG. This is all just data that we enjoy. But yeah, I was a bit annoyed that day, I'll be honest with you. So Thunderous, this was a raid hour, and this raid in particular was one that was just there before the raid hour started. So we did it, got my shiny on the first one, and I was like, oh my god. So I still played the raid hour, because obviously when you get a good shiny, you've got candy to power it up or whatever. The second to, no, it was the last raid. The last raid of the raid hour, I saw the IVs on the Thunderous, and I was like, oh my god, please be shiny, please be shiny, please be shiny. And it popped up, and it was a 1906, which was amazing. I'll never forget that moment, because I was literally looking at my phone like, please, 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 and I saw the purple details, and I was like, yes. This is the Pokemon in question when it comes to the event coming up in a couple weeks in May. Well, actually, no, it's in the start of May. But yeah, the King Gambit event, the Crown, it's called Crown something, where you're going to get Nidokings and Nidoqueens in the wild. But yeah, I'm looking forward to evolving this into King Gambit massively. This, I was so happy to get this. This was during some sort of event, maybe something to do with Hawaii. But there was an event, maybe it was like a PvP event or something, but I got this out of research. I really wanted this Pikachu, and maybe you'll notice, but a lot of my best shiny Pikachus, in fact the majority of my shiny Pikachus are female, so I prefer that personally. That's just a collection thing now, or it's just turned into a collection thing. But yeah, I really love this Pikachu, and yeah, this is my buddy at the minute. I'm trying to best buddy that next, but taking my time with it. You know, best buddies aren't my massive priority. By this era, from this Pokemon, I can tell Anorith. So yeah, Anorith, that was a shiny shadow, and this time Michael was cleaning up. It was Anorith, Lileep, and what's his name? What's the Carvana? And Carvana rockets were being given from leaders. Michael was getting, he got 2 Anoriths, 2 Lileeps, a Carvana, or maybe it was like in that order, but like he got multiple, and he got a match-up as well around that time as well. So I got my Anorith by accident. I think it was from Arlo, and I was like, you know what, since I've got this, I might as well try for the other ones. And where were they? They should be around here. Maybe it came a bit later, god, who knows. But yeah, but I got all 3 of them in the end. Oh, there's the Lileep. So this came from Sierra for sure. And yeah, there should be a Sharpedo around here, flying around. That was definitely the last one that I needed to get. There it is. So I found it. So I evolved the Carvana into a Sharpedo. Obviously it's not the best, but at the same time I never had a Sharpedo, and I have a shiny Carvana, so I evolved this for the shiny decks. Yeah, what happened next? This happened. This Ditto. Now this Ditto, I'll never forget. I know it's a 10.55 IV, or maybe 10.66. Yeah, 10.55. Sorry, 15. That's what I meant. 15.55 IV. Now this one, this was named Stars Align before. Now the reason for that is nothing to do with the ambassador in Central called Stars, but I caught this and I literally saw that it was a shiny Ditto, but by the time I caught it, we'd already moved past it, and I was with Michael, and Michael was like, should I go back and get it? And I said, yeah, go on, it's 1 in 64 chance, you might as well give it a go. And then Michael also got the shiny Ditto from that catch. We named it Stars Align because obviously the stars aligned, but Michael has since traded that away or deleted it or something, so I just changed it back to a Ditto because forget that, man, I can keep the memory here. But now we have the Phalanx Community Day. This Phalanx Community Day was terrible to me because it took me 2 hours before I got my first shiny. The good thing that came out of the Phalanx Raid Day is that one of the young boys in the Crystal Palace group, he needed a Corsola, like a regular Corsola, just a Pokedex. And then I was like, oh, what can you offer? And he goes, oh, have a look at my spare shinies, take any one you want, doesn't matter, I just really want this Corsola. So he had quite a few Mareeps. So we just did a random trade, and then this Mareep went to this, which is actually the same IV as my Garchomp from the start of the video. But yeah, it was really nice to get this to get this Ampharos. Sorry, Ampharos is like one of my favourite Pokemon because I used it in my opening team in Pokemon Gold when I had it, and yeah, it's just kind of had that stay. I'm not the biggest fan of Mega Ampharos, but it really has grown on me. It just looks like a judge in a courtroom, to be honest with you. What's next? So you're going to start seeing loads and loads of Ponytars. Oh, this is in Italy. So I was on holiday in Italy for my little cousin's wedding. Oh, sorry, my older cousin's wedding. It was a great time. On the first day of that holiday, I hatched an egg, and it was this Druddigon. Amazing. I mean, it's 96 Druddigon, can't complain. That was my first ever shiny Druddigon, and it was so exciting. And in fact, to match this colour scheme, this was actually the first wild shiny that I got. It was a town called Bonassola in Italy, which is a small town, maybe you've heard of it. But yeah, I got that one. And then, as I said, you're going to start seeing loads of Ponytars and stuff because, you know, Galarian Ponytars boosted. It started coming into my game frame quite a lot. But this was actually, I only need one more. and I got this, and this was on my cousin's wedding day. We're in the mountains in a town called Monterosso, and there was no chance that I could play this community day because we were actually in the church for the 3 hours that the community day was happening, and I was no chance I was being caught on my phone. And secondly, the signal in those mountains was horrendous, but whatever, I was in a different country, it's fine. But I did end up getting the 2 Ponytas. So Ponyta was one of the Pokemon. The regular Ponyta, Kanto, is one that I actually traded away into a different game, and I never got it since. So this is called Lost at Sea for a reason. This Ponyta was on my uncle's boat in Italy, going down the side of La Cinque Terre, which is, if you've travelled Italy, you'll know these are like the famous little islands on the side. They're not islands, the famous coastline towns on the side, and just a shiny Ponyta. That's why it's called Lost at Sea, because like, how on earth could a Ponyta be in the middle of the seas? Another auto catcher surprise, which is one of my favourite ones by far, is this Minfu. So, you know when you go into an airport, you do the passport check, and then there's a tunnel between the aeroplane. I literally turned on my auto catcher because I was doing a passport check, I couldn't be on my phone. I turned on the auto catcher, and in that space between the passport check and then the aeroplane, which is just a tunnel, I got this Minfu. I was so happy because I didn't manage to get it from the field researches or the raids, whatever, when it came out. Guys, just a quick disclaimer, I'm really sorry if the sound hasn't been as good as normal. I don't know why my mic turned off, but it did turn off, so yeah, hopefully the music changes it and there's no background sound or whatever. But where were we? Oh my god, this research day for Persimmon and Oranguru, yeah, I got I think my first ever Oddish, which was great. But my goodness, look at this. I got 2 Orangurus and I got enough Persimmons for an American football team, or a football team, whatever you want to say. But yeah, I got it actually on my first click. This one was the first research that I checked of the day. It was only like 2 minutes into the event, so that's quite a good one. But yeah, I did really want some more Orangurus, but you know, they come in due time, right? And I think, yeah, this Gardevoir I caught wild, and I was very happy about it. And I maxed it out straight away. But then I did a random lucky trade with my friend Tyler, like maybe even 4 days later or less. And then I got this. I know it's not 15 attack, but 94 lucky. It would have been cheaper to power up. But you know, we've got 2 now, so you can't complain. Gardevoir, of course, is one of the best fairy attackers in the game. This, beware. I'll never forget it because I really wanted a shiny Stuffle, but I'd never seen one before. Maybe like in like, you know, shiny hunting videos or whatever. But I never saw a shiny Stuffle, and then it came up on my screen. I was so happy because I thought it is quite rare actually. I know there was an event a couple of weeks ago, but it's so rare. And then look at this IV, 15, 15, 8. This is what I'm talking about. You can see all these Ponytas here, and the Darumacas were boosted in this event, so just non-stop Darumacas that time. It was really actually quite annoying, to be honest with you, but shinies are shiny, can't complain. So we're just past the halfway mark now. This actually was from one of Mateo's eggs. I was like, where did this Mantite come from? Like, why is that even in an egg? I realized it was Mateo's egg, so it's, you know, it's quite a lucky one. You only get 1 chance a day to get an egg from him, so that was a nice. I don't do too many routes as well. I'm not so fussed on Zygarde, but when the shiny does come out, I'm trying to prepare for that one. One of my favourite mythicals, of course, I said how disappointed I was in the Mew. My Celebi, which I've named into Japanese pronunciation, Celebi, is, yeah, a 92, which I can't complain. It's the same as my Shadow Mewtwo. But yeah, I had to best friend that one. I really liked Celebi growing up. It was just, you know, the Onyon Pokemon. This, so the Mawile day. So this is my best one. But I only got Mawiles. It was a raid day between 2 and 5. 4 o'clock was my first shiny. I had a hundo and everything in that raid day, and it was so annoying. And guess what the first one was? The first shiny was a base, which is like a reverse Shundo, if anything. But like, some people like that. I was a bit like, oh, I couldn't have been the hundo, but you know, happy as it is, we got what we needed. And yeah, you move on. And this was my first Galarian bird, so here it is. Oh no, this is the second one, sorry. The first one was no good, this was the second one, which was actually a really good IV. So I maxed out this one, I really do enjoy it. Yamask, this was a fun day. I do, oh, by the way, got extra small EV. I've also got extra large, and I've got regular shinies, so you know, that's a nice little thing to have completed. But Yamask day, I'll never forget it. Do you know why? Because that's when Happy Jack got his first Shundo. Which is funny because he doesn't even remember which form it is. I mean, it's your first Shundo, mate, come and get a grip. But yeah, that was a good day. And also got my first shiny shadow dog, which was actually Entei. So if you haven't seen my last couple of videos, we've been hunting Enteis. So yeah, I've completed the shiny Entei family, I believe, which is a nice one. Get still more Giratinas. This was from a random Sierra. I was just on the bus and I got this and I was so happy. I still am happy. If only the IVs were a bit better. But yeah, this was my first Gigantamax Charizard. If you see Marlo in my Snorlax video, the one that I said I couldn't put on screen because he got too crazy, that's how I met him, is because we both got shiny Charizards on the same Dynamax, or Gigantamax raid, sorry. And he lost his mind. He was screaming. I'm sure like all the people that lived in houses nearby were like thinking, oh my God, is that boy dying? Or yeah, he got the Charizard, the same one as me. It's not the best IV, but 15 attack, you can't complain. So I kept it, I powered it up. I didn't bother waiting for a lucky trade. Next up, moving on from the El Charizardo. Now I have this Witch Hat Pikachu. Now, I don't think I have the screenshot anymore, but this was one click. And then I caught one Pokemon in between. And then the next click after that was this. So the female version of it. Honestly, that was like, it was probably as close as like this branch over here. Do you know what I mean? It was so close. I could have been in the same spot and got both of them. But yeah, that was like, I think that was the third day of the Halloween event and I really wanted this shiny Pikachu and I got both of them and I was like, oh, taken aback and I was like, yeah, we've finally done it. Darkrai, one of my, like I said, really good shiny. It's not one of my favorites or anything, but I only got one. Baz got a Shundo this time. Well done, Baz. Good for you. He didn't even realize it was a Shundo as well, as usual. But yeah, I've got a Hundo Darkrai and then this one shiny. It's a shame it can't be traded. It would have been really nice to have a lucky shiny Darkrai, but you know, Mythicals can't be traded. Then we had the next Halloween event, which we were going, I got loads of different shinies. This is a costume one. Oh, costume shiny. And then the Zoroark and everything, lots of Zoroas. There was lots of Galarian shiny Articunos around my screen at that point because obviously Zoro was turned into your buddy Pokemon. What's next? The next is this Lugia. This is the one that I said is hyper trainable. So I got the 14 though, 4151, which is a nice number, but you know, if it goes up, it goes up. That'll be a good day. Lugia is one of my favorite, but I do prefer Ho-Oh, but Lugia has kind of grown on me over the time. But yeah, Annihilate, what a bad boy Pokemon, honestly. The fact that Primeape gets so angry that it dies and turns into this is just so sick. Nice little bit of Pokemon lore there for you. This one, Elias got one and I was so desperate to get it, and then one day at work a random 12k egg hatched. It's not the best one, we can trade it, but yeah, Sandile is such a rare Pokemon in this game, especially shiny, due to the way you have to get it, you know. I also have a folder, I'm not going to show you all of them, but I have a folder of LOL trades, which are like just trades that went so bad, but I just don't want to delete them. This Toxtricity, I wasn't even trying for this one because I preferred the other form, but this one I just did a random raid and it came out of a random raid. That's why it's not D-Max or G-Max or anything, but you know, it would have been lovely to get a G-Max form, but can't complain. This Scolipede was actually my second Mighty Pokemon. Mighty Pokemon are the Pokemon that had 13 floors for IVs. They could have been double extra large or extra large with an increased chance. So this one's an extra large. This is my second Mighty Pokemon. So imagine that, like you've only clicked on 2 Pokemon and one of them shiny. You think, I thought I was going to get the whole collection of Mighty Pokemon shiny, but it didn't work out that way. But this is a great one, Scolipede. I got a matching jacket to go with that one. Yeah, Wild Area was a great day. Oh, yes, it was a great day. That was the one that I got the Shundo. As I said in the past, it's a shame it doesn't have the Wild Area background, but you know, take a Shundo. I got this from a field research, which was another evolved one, the shiny Golem. And then towards the end of the event, this was actually a really good event. There was lots and lots of boosted spawns. It was really good. Yeah, collected a lot of Shiny Dex families that day because obviously the ones that we needed were just there and it was quite easy to find them, especially the way that I play, you know, click everything, auto catcher if you have to, but yeah. And then I wasn't even trying for this because at the time G-Max and D-Max were kind of like, yeah, you try for them, but I wasn't going crazy on them. Because you don't realize like how important they are. But I think it was the 4th Gigantamax raid I did of this, and I got this 10, 15, 15s. I love this Pokemon. As I mentioned, I was going for this one more than the other one because I used it in my Sword and Shield playthrough, which is so it's quite nostalgic to me. This is the day that I got the Gengar from Tyler. I gave her a shiny Mewtwo for this. It turned into a 96, which is actually better than any of my Mewtwo's that I have myself. Well done, Tyler. But then yeah, got this Gengar. You know, it's one of my, it's like a crowd favorite, but I do enjoy Gengar. It's not like it's not in my top 10 or anything like that at all, but the shiny, I really wanted it for the shiny because of course it goes to the white, you know, you can see it in the background there. And this was my last wild area Pokemon, my Mighty Pokemon, sorry, and it was this Electros, which was a 94, which maybe you noticed earlier, but the other Electros that I have is a 94, so I was like, oh my god, I got 2 94 Electros. Oops, let me make sure this is on, yeah. Okay, so we got the Reggies. Now this took me like, I did 50 but it was on like the 37th, which is when I got this Regieleki, which obviously if you play Sword and Shield, you know that the Shiny Charm odds don't work on those two particular Pokemon, Regieleki and Regidrago. So that's why it's one of the, notoriously known as one of the hardest Pokemon to hunt. So when this came out, I really needed it. And then my first ever Regidrago, my Pokedex entry was this shiny, and it was a 96. Look, I've given another one away since, but also the other two that I got, 94 and another 94. So Regidrago, one of my luckiest shinies ever. What's next? So this Munchlax, you know, as we've been looking in the past couple of days for Munchlaxes from the eggs, we had this Munchlax. It turned out to be a really good one, and in the same batch was this happening. So that was 2 babies, 1 batch, done. Didn't have to really worry about it ever again. And later on that evening, I hatched my second shiny Pawniard as well, which is, you know, it's not the best. We can always trade it for a lucky. But yeah, you know, it was just a good day for hatching. Oh, and the reason I mentioned that Lechonk earlier is because that was, I think it was the September the 7th or something like that, 2023. I didn't get one again until like well over a year after. So that was my second shiny Lechonk. Oh, this is a trade that I did with my mate Wayne. Now Wayne had a shiny one, of course. We went lucky. He got a 94 IV, and this is what my one turned into. So yeah, you know, lucky megas, especially above 94 IV, they're massive. I hatched this out of an egg more recently, shiny Froakie. What event was that during actually? Oh, December Community Day. Oh, December Community Day, there was a lot of good stuff around this day actually. You know, December Community Day is another community day where it's a community day that shows and highlights every single Pokemon that has had community days in the first 11 months of the year. So, you know, it's a fun day. A lot of interesting things can happen. I got this Porygon, which I actually missed that community day last year somehow. I don't know how I missed it, but I got my Porygon at last. There was the Elekid hatch day. There's the Porygon Z just to show an example. But yeah, there was the Elekid and Magby hatch day. I don't know where my Magbies have gone. I think I might have lucky traded or something like that. But this was the best Elekid hatch that came of that day. Maybe you saw in the the tags already, but yeah, this was so close to a Shundo. I would have loved that. But yeah, Electivire's a big Pokemon. So what's next here? What's next? This is the Delibird. This is the Delibird that I got out of the Uber for. I had to run back and use Spatial Rend to get it, and then had to walk home afterwards because the Uber had left. But yeah, nice little memories attached to some of these Pokemon, you know. Deoxys, one of the best Pokemon in my opinion. That ongoing beef with Rayquaza is hilarious. And yeah, the Deoxys, I managed to get one of each. I was trying hard, you know, but you know, one of each is all you need. Can't be traded unless you're going for Shundo, but that's a different story. Mentioning Shundos, then after that came the Ho-Oh, the Shadow. Oh my God, sorry, it shocks me even sometimes when I think about it, but yeah, the Shundo Ho-Oh. Got a couple other good spares. The reason I wasn't against going for the Shundo is because I have these other two 84s that were still relatively good, so there's no harm in having, you know, a purified Shundo. Now this, so as you can see, there's the Wooper here. So this was it Wooper? Yeah, I think it was a Wooper Spotlight Hour. Yeah, it was a Wooper Spotlight Hour. Now I was leaving my work, the Spotlight Hour had just started, and there was actually just one Pokemon that had spawned that as a regular Pokemon, and it was a Shieldon. So I clicked on the Shieldon, and I thought, oh my God, is this a hack? Like every Pokemon that isn't a Wooper at this time is going to be a Shieldon. Now obviously I was wrong, but yeah, I hunted for Shieldon for a very long time, especially, it was before I even got the Cranidos. Here we go, Bergmite, another Pokemon that I've just witnessed so many people get it, and it just never showed its face to me. And obviously I'm trying to save it for some sort of event where they can evolve it into Hisuian Avalugg, because I haven't managed to get it from previous breakthroughs. But on this day that I got this Bergmite, I also got my first ever shiny Glalie. So of course, as I said, these can be mega shiny as megas. The Glalie, I got it in the morning. That same evening, I got a second one. I don't know. As I said, an example of Pokemon that you get two in a row, but you've been looking for a long time and didn't have it before. But yeah, we're getting towards the bottom now. Then we had an Azurill pop from this egg, which was like really great because you know, it's a rare baby. I love babies, maybe you can tell from, I love baby Pokemon, maybe you can tell from this video. But I had lunch with Ollie, and then after the lunch, or maybe even during, when we were sat there, like the eggs hatched, a second one popped out. So honestly, I couldn't make it up, but I was just really happy that a boosted Pokemon actually showed its face for once. This is the Nidoran, just a random walk to my corner shop, and I managed to get a Nidoran from a raid. Very happy about that, still am, but it's not the best IVs, but you know, sometimes it's just about the Pokemon. I mentioned that there was a Pokemon that I couldn't get from Breakthrough, which was the Hisuian Everlog, but something I did get from a Breakthrough which blew me away is the very, very tanned Alolan Raichu, which I love. I love Alolan Raichu. I think it's a super good addition to the Pikachu family, and the fact that it's surfing psychically is great. But yeah, Breakthroughs sometimes can give you the good stuff. I'm really hoping for a Charcadet from this week's Breakthrough. I got one last week, but obviously no blue eyes, otherwise I would have shown you by now. We now have the recent Unova. So the Unova was a great one for me. I wish I recorded it because you guys would have seen so many great things happen. But you know, you can see here, as I slowly scroll, I got my first Scatterbug, which I didn't actually get during the Scatterbug boosted event, but I've ended up getting it, you know, just afterwards. It's still 1 in 64 odds from what I believe, because I've had 2 since total. But yeah, I mean, loads and loads of good things came out of this event. This is a trade with my friend Ginge. Yeah, it was, went to a 94, which I've always wanted a shiny Blaziken. We got, you know, the Reshurams, the Zekroms, Cobalions. We got one of these on that day. So yeah, the Terrakion, the Virizion, and the Cobalions over here. I think we got most of the shinies we wanted. We wanted more Landorus's. I mean, this is a good one, it's 15 attack, but I really wanted a better IV Landorus because it's so relevant, but I've tried 2 lucky trades for that and it hasn't gone in my direction at all. That's when these Pikachus came out with the hats. I managed to get 1 of each, even if they're not all female, it's fine. I was happy to have 1 of each hat. We did a lucky trade for an Articuno, which went terribly, oh my gosh. I don't like seeing that one so often, but this is one of my favorites from that event, which was the 98 shiny Reshiram with the background. What else? I mean, of course, I showed you this one before, but we got this Kyurem from Spencer. He traded it to us and it went really well for us. Sadly, it didn't go so well for him. Oh, I forgot about this, 94 Zacian. This is my favorite Zacian, which is a lucky as well. Got this Moltres from Aaron, you know, maxed it out. Traded my second Galarian Articuno for that one and have had another one since. This is one of the other hat Pikachus that I traded with Aaron as well, I guess. And I said I gave him a hat EV4, party hat EV. These Sigaliths, this is obviously part of the rare spawns from the eggs. The Maractus, I got it pretty early. I didn't even notice that. I just completely missed it. Sigalith, that came after the event, literally the evening of the event it came, and then the next day I hatched another shiny Sigalith, that Kyurem that I mentioned. So this is, oh actually it's 96, I didn't realise. So Tertian and I traded for that and it went really, really well for me, so I maxed it out just in case I do want to fuse another one in the future. Yeah, I finally got my Gigantamax Venusaur, which took me ages. I still need Gigantamax Blastoise, that's one of the last 2 I got missing. But yeah, I do really, oops, what have I done that for? What have happened? Oh, we did this trade with Baz. I've mentioned it before, but the 13 Larvesta, it took us months. It took me months to find somebody that had a shiny Larvesta and to go lucky with them as well. Even if it's not a Shundo, it's not the best IV, I'm still really happy with how it went because of how long we waited for it. And oh, after that, I actually hatched this Galarian Corsola, which was like a very good shiny to hatch. I'm sure a lot of people are still hunting that down. So yeah, you know, sometimes luck is in your favor. Sometimes, you know, one of a saying that I always say is all it takes is 1. I know obviously sometimes it takes 100 to do it, but like, it's just that one that you're waiting for. It just happens. It will happen when it happens. You know, you got to have faith in the process. And guys, here we are. We are at Totodile Community Day. So this is actually the start of my videos. So my very first video was Totodile Community Day. Maybe you can have a look at my AI generated thumbnail and see that there's like a very funny Squirtle Turtle, Squirtle Totodile, sorry. So since then, yeah, we got loads of good stuff. We got this Necrozma, where we were at the Necrozma. Then there was, yeah, the Fuzzy Buddies event, as you may have seen in the video if you watched it. This Raikou that Tertian traded to us went to a 90, still very happy with that. Mega Ordino Raid Day, I think that was video number 2, where you were introduced to Killian. The Tyro Catch Day, if you haven't seen that video, yeah, we only got 3 that day, but yeah, watch the video. Yeah, we've had great luck. Well done, Blacephalon. That was another big video. So yeah, the 98s. Then this row in the middle, if you look in the middle, it's just a row of Octillery and Remoraid, which is, I always find funny that that's how it was placed out. Like every 3 Pokemon was a Remoraid. Yeah, this was of course the Battle Partners Day, or it's Battle Partners Day. We got the Scraggy, the Hariyama, and then El Shandini Heracross, yeah. So once again, as I panicked in that when I got the Shundo, thank you for your support so far, guys. This video is almost done anyway. So yeah, because this is all stuff that you've probably seen recently. Yeah, the Snorlax Nightmare Day. If you haven't seen that video, definitely watch that. We had a real tough time, but we ended up with this, which was very happy about. And then we also got this Terrakion from it as well, from Michael, I believe, or Hayden. And yeah, so here we have it. We've almost reached the Vanilla Community Day, yeah, which was the last video. So we reached it, and the last, you know, notable shiny was this Entei, and yesterday I only got 2 of the boosted shinies. So yeah, there we have it, guys. I mean, that is as deep a dive as I can do today. There's obviously loads and loads of stories, but I wanted stories that stood out, and like, you know, nice memories to go over. It's more of like a reminisce for me as well, but you know, I'm sure you guys have loads of stories. So if you want to share any stories about your favorite Pokemon, like the time that you jumped over a fence and then your friend got stuck by the underwear or something, and he was just hanging there trying to find a Pokemon, just let me know all these kind of silly things. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Once again, guys, thank you for everything so far. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that you're enjoying the content. Thanks for all the comments. So yeah, we will see you on the weekend, if not before then. But thank you for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.